Hey everybody, it's Green Machine 55 here and welcome back. And today we are back on Kerbal Space Program. Today this is a little longer than I thought, so this might only be done. We may only do the advanced tutorial for building today. So let's just jump on in there. We are doing advanced construction today. And I'm going to try to go through it as fast as possible. Basically, welcome to the third and final tutorial about construction, the advanced construction. I've had to delay some important work today to fit this in, so pay close attention as I show you how a real rocket scientist makes orbital crafts. Let's go. In our last tutorial, we built a vessel that could escape the atmosphere, but it didn't have enough oomph to escape for long. This time around, we'll cover more advanced rocket design concepts with multiple stages and boosters, as well as the extra parts like RCS and solar panels. You'll want these if you spend more time or a few minutes in orbit. When we're done, you'll have a craft capable of ascent to orbit, orbital operations, and a safe return to Kerbal. And you can test it out in the Go for Orbit tutorial, which will teach you how to make use of it all. You'll notice that there are lots of more parts available this time. That's because an orbit capable craft is much more complex than that little puddle jumper I showed you to make in the last time. However, the main principles are the same, so I hope you remember what I taught you. If you mess up, say somehow manage to delete your whole craft, you can hit Ctrl plus Z to undo your last change. Again, you only have one pod available, so go ahead and select it. Obviously. And then of course you're going to want a parachute, your parachute. On top. And like last time, adjust the parachute parameters to 0.75. We're now going to construct an upper stage. This upper stage will finish placing the pod in orbit, and once there, provide RCS steering thrusters and electricity for the pod. It will also provide all maneuvering capability in orbit, including the re-entry burn. It's going to consist of a decoupler. We don't want to carry it home. An RCS fuel tank and a liquid fuel tank, 4 RCS thrusters, 4 solar panels and 4 batteries, and an efficient upper stage engine. That's quite the shopping list, isn't it? So let me know when you're ready to proceed. Firstly, we will add a stacked decoupler below the pod to let us discard the parts we don't want to bring back with us. Grab a decoupler from the toolbox and attach it to the bottom of the pod, paying close attention so that its little red arrows we discussed before point up to make sure that the decoupler is oriented the right way, which by default is already in the right direction. Okay, anyway, next we'll add an RCS tank. RCS stands for Reaction Control System, and this fuel will help us with the maneuvers. Go to the tanks category and add the FLR25 RCS fuel tanker, which is this one. Your craft is not going to need all the monopropellant in the tank, so to save some weight, right-click it to get the parts option and move the slider down to 96 units. There we go, 96 units. We'll be adding multiple liquid fuel tanks in this stage to get the right amount for the upper stage engine, and we need an extra tank to offset the weight of the RCS. So add a tiny rocket propellant tank. It's the one named FLT100 fuel tank, and then add a medium one FLT400 fuel tank below it. So basically we're adding 3 types of tanks. And the first one is the same size as our second one is the same as the first one. And then you got this bigger, longer one. Lastly, for the main parts of this upper stage, we'll add an engine. The Terrier engine produces almost no thrust at sea level and air pressure, but is highly efficient in space and above to 20 km, where the atmosphere is thin enough to not interfere with the exhaust. This makes it a good choice for an upper stage, since the engine will not be activated until the rocket has reached the conditions where this kind of engine works well. If you select the wrong engine, you can always throw it away and try again, which is this little thing. Nicely done. That's a pretty well assembled upper stage, if I do say so myself, and get you to orbit if you put enough rocket under it. While we have this reasonably simple vessel here, let's explore one of the other useful tools we have available. To make sure that your ship flies controllably, some parts need to be placed carefully around a point inside the ship called the center of mass. The COM is a spot where the mass on one side is balanced by the mass on the other side. Thrust applied through the COM will cause a ship to move without unwanted rotation, while thrust upwardly applied around the COM will cause a ship to rotate without moving. This makes the COM such a useful and important thing that we added a tool so the assembly building can show it to you with a marker. Let's take a look at it, how the indicator works here. Click on the COM indicator toggle and we'll have a play. Here's a picture of it with the indicator highlighted. In this case, it's this one. Okay, let's adjust the fuel levels in some of the tanks and see how they affect the center of mass. Right click on each of the fuel tanks and drag the fuel and oxidizer propellant levels down to 0. Don't touch the mono propellant levels, as they won't be burnt by the Terrier engine. And watch how it moves. Okay, now go ahead and refill the tanks, and we proceed to add some of the accessories to our upper stage. Now that you know where the COM is and when the stage is full and when it is empty, you have the information we need to place RCS thrusters. Are found in the command and control category. Moving the spaceship without rotating is called a translation. This is a useful kind of maneuver for several reasons, including docking to another craft in order for translation with RCS to avoid unwanted rotation. You need to balance the thrusters around the COM so the net sum of the forces is balanced right on this natural pivot point. For 2 equal sets of thrusters, each set should be equal distant for the COM, and for a single set, what we're doing here, they should be right around the COM itself. What makes this complicated is that the COM changes during flight, as you just saw, so you need to place the thrusters at a compromise point between the wet COM and the dry COM. Note that in career mode, games RCS thrusters don't become available until fairly late. In the meantime, the reaction wheel compatibility built into your command pod will probably be enough for turning in space, though reaction wheels will not allow you to translate. So let's see. It says so you need to place the thrusters at a compromise point between the wet COM and the dry COM. So let's see. Wet COM, apparently I'm guessing, means full. So let's see. Let's see where the dry point is. Okay, dry point is right about there. So somewhere in between needs to be about somewhere right about here, in my opinion. So let's turn on angle snap to make aligning the thruster part easier. Do that by clicking on the toggle snap icon in the lower left or pressing the C key. Ensure we have 4x. So my estimation is somewhere around like here. Somewhere right about here, in my opinion. Okay, on your upper stage, the tiny rocket propellant tank is about the right place to attach. The tiny rocket propellant tank is about the right place to attach these, just in case you need a hint. Which I figured that. Okay, if you don't get the placement quite right, you can also use the offset gizmo to fine-tune their position. Make sure you turn angle snap off before using the offset. You'll want to adjust for that, and with snap turned on, the adjustments are anything but fine. Click the offset mode icon in the upper left of the main editor. Wait. Angle snap off first. Okay, anyway, it says angle snap off before using the offset. You will want to adjust for that, and with snap turned on, the adjustments are anything but fine. Click the offset mode icon in the upper left of the main editor window, just to the right of the part list. Then click on RCS part. Drag one of the axis indicators to move it. If you want to reset this adjustment, hit space, then done. Go back to place mode. Nope. 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 No. I'm trying to remember where that was. Oh, there we are. Oh, wait, no, not that one. Not that one either. Wait, what was it called again? I think it was that one. And then it's... RCS part. Okie dokie. Drag one of the axis indicators to move it. If you want to reset this, okay. When you're all done, turn the COM indicator off. If you don't get the placement quite right, you can also use the offset gizmo to fine-tune their position. Okay, I'm confused. There. That's exactly how I need it. Okay, now wait. I still don't get it. What did I do? Go back to place mode. If you don't get the placement quite right, you can also use the offset gizmo to fine-tune their position. Make sure you turn angle snap off before using the offset. You will want to fine adjustments for that, and with snap turned on, the adjustments are anything but fine. Click the offset mode icon in the upper left of the main editor window, just to the right of the part list, then click RCS part. Drag one of the axis indicators to move it. If you want to reset this adjustment, hit when done, go to place mode when you're all done. So I'm trying to think of what is supposedly wrong with this. Oh, that would be it. keep forgetting. What the frick am I doing? Oh. Okay, I think I'm seeing something else that it's referring to. Maybe I'm seeing something else that's not doing right. I don't know what the hell I'm supposedly doing wrong. Let me go back to this form again. I don't know what the hell I'm doing wrong. Maybe I had it too low, maybe I had it too high. I don't remember what the fuck I did to get it in the right place the first time. Or whatever is supposedly wrong with this situation. Maybe I have to turn this back on. And attach and detach. I don't know. Yeah, I had it too damn low. Maybe I had it at the wrong tank. I don't remember. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here, other than the fact that I had that, still had that. There we go. Okay, now I got it. Okay, lots of things on a craft use electrical charge. Yeah, basically I gotta go to electricity. I gotta grab solar panels first. And hit A to rotate them. And hold it over the lower end of the fuel tanks and press A to rotate it 90 degrees and click to place the sets. Let's see, let's go ahead and put them. I'm going to put these right there. And then grab a set of batteries. And get 4 sets of batteries right about in between. There we go. Next. Excellent work. You build a nice starter up stage, which will do, basically. Now we need to get another decoupler and attach it to the bottom of this. Boom! As you notice, there's a cover over it, which will come off as soon as it, Add 2 of the medium tanks, 2 of these to the bottom. 1. I forgot what the button was for duplicating, so I'm just grabbing it twice. For our lower stage, we need an engine that is sustainer. That's an engine that burns from liftoff until well after the boosters separate. Let's get scientifical for a second. Rocket engine performance is measured by specific impulse, and the impulse of engine changes as the amount of atmospheric pressure around it changes, just as the upper stage needed an engine that is good at the low air pressure of high altitudes. The lower stage will need boosters with powerful at the higher air pressure of the low altitude of the launch pad, and to help carry the rocket through the transition from launch to upper stage, it will need a sustainer engine, which usually sits between the boosters and the upper stage engines for the performance perspective, having a wide range in between the two. So now I need to go back to engines and basically add this engine to the bottom. And then, like before, we need to adjust it, adjust the thrust limiter to 65, like we did last time. Next. Nice, now you have the core of the rocket completed, but just as I said before, we'll also be adding boosters to help the sustainer engine get the rocket up and running. We'll add 2 boosters, symmetries to that, keep our craft balance, and basically I need to add a different version of decoupler for those, times 2. as low as I could possibly get it. And then it wants me to add this engine times 2 on the sides. So as close as I can get it. There, come on. There, that's good enough. And like if you blah blah blah, right click on the SRBs and change its thrust limiter to 50. Now change them to 50 thrust. Come on. There we go, 50. And there's an aerodynamic issue, so we need to go to aerodynamics and add that to it. And now this time we need winglets times 4. Excellent. We've now got the components on our basic orbital rocket, but let's run through a few extra things before we call it a day. Firstly, we should review the staging stack to check the order of the actions and parts displayed there. It's likely highlighted as for you because SRBs are set to fire before the sustainer, and that just won't do. You won't have enough thrust to get off the pad that way. Move the swivel staging icon down into the same stage as the SRBs. Basically, I need to grab this one and bring it down here with this one. Next, finally pick up the pod and rotate it 90 degrees around the vertical axis. Press Q and E. Q, E, Q. It also sets the orientation when we get the launch pad. Blah blah blah. Compresses 90. Will be a matter of steering in the pitch up and down rather than yaw. By default, parts in the VIB are oriented in the way aligned. So yeah. Okay, next. Action. We also make every effort to ensure our brave crew survivor and hopefully blah blah blah. Yes, with them in mind, let's set up abort action. This is where I go up to actions. I gotta go down to abort. And action groups, specific keys, default action groups, landing gear automatically go, yeah, blah blah blah. And custom ones activated by a key, not keypad numbers. Because of the order of these, you know, blah blah blah, 1 to 9 and then 0. To set up an action group, click on the desired action key from the menu and click the part you want to activate. The actions already assigned to that group appear in the group actions column, blah blah blah. To add and remove items, you simply click on the item to move them left or right between columns to clear, blah blah blah. We're going to set up the abort action group. It's triggered by pressing backspace or by clicking on the big red abort, yeah, blah blah blah. You know that. Okay, great. Now click on the decoupler right below the pod and add its decoupler action to the group. Decoupler. Okay, shutdown function to the group. Finally, okay, then click on the liquid engines in turn and assign their shutdown functions to the group. So that's the fuel tank. There's the first engine, shut down. Then the second engine, shut down. And then I need to get access to the decoupler and do the decoupler for that as well. Boing! And there we are! Your orbital rocket is ready to fly. It's been a long lesson, and thanks for hanging in there, in which we've covered lots of different advanced technologies. Yeah, basically all said and done, we're basically done. So that's it for me. So let's see, is there anything else I need to bring up while I'm on this? If you got this far, you know, do you want to see more videos like this, or do you want to deal with, you know, something else? I do have another game in mind if I can get the controls the way I like them, if I even enjoy playing the game at all, because I will be trying it out before I show it off. But to give a heads up, it's called Flashing Lights. There's still a couple of games I have in mind that's not quite released yet, called one is basically Police Simulator, and 18 is what it was called, or something like that. And the other one is was called yeah, shit. What was it called? Truck Driver or something like that. I forget which. Actually, I think it was another farming. Alaskan Truck Simulator. But I think that's about it. I think I'll have one more video this week. I'm possibly gonna do a live stream on Sunday if it is true and I actually get the day off. So stay tuned for that, and I think that's about it. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!